Hey guys, I know it's been a while, but it's been a couple of very busy years. I was getting my diploma as a biomedical scientist. I had to find a job. That all went out. That all worked out well, and now I finally found my footing. So I'm back. Let's go on. I'm gonna first show you my benches, my more advanced benches, the bonsais that are more complete, not completed of course, but that are more finished. Just for today as an introduction, so you can see what material that I have and what bonsais that you can follow. And of course later on we'll go to the less advanced benches, so you can like see from starting material until finished bonsai there. All right, so let's go. Yes, so first one, this one is the most recently styled. I styled this one last weekend. Too bad I did not film this because I wasn't sure that I was gonna revisit my YouTube channel. It is what it is. This is a yamadori Pinus sylvestris, so Scots pine. Ironically not from Scotland, this one is from Spain. Bought in 2023, then styled in 2023, spring of 2023. Repotted 2024, also spring, and then we had it bulk out a little bit, and now we did the second styling, so second wiring. We had originally a lot more branches than we needed. This is a very good thing because you will give the tree more energy if you do so, meaning that you will be able to work faster. Your tree is going to recover and you're going to be able to work faster. So this is also why I had this result in 3 years. Okay, so yeah, let's go to the next one. Alright, so Sabina juniper, also yamadori. This one also from Spain. It's not that I love Spain or something, it's just a coincidence. Now, this one, I believe, more or less the same time frame as the yamadori sylvestris. It's also bought 23, repotted 24, and styled 25. Now, the thing is, I'm not completely sure about the front. I love how the live vein interacts with the depth here, and that you have all of this deadwood coming towards the viewer, and also your live vein goes away from you and comes towards you again. So this is my front right now, but you also have this root. This root is, as you can see, pretty large, and I think it makes a really good base. So if we turn it around and we try to utilize this, you still have like a little bit more stability to the tree, but then you miss a lot of live dead interaction. So for now, at least for now, this is the front, and you can also see a little bit of the root over here, so it still gives you that stability, but you have like this interaction that really captivates the viewer. So yeah, this is my Sabina juniper, yamadori. Okay, so this is one of my favorite trees in the garden. This is a Berberis timbergii. I collected this one about 5 years ago from a garden, so it's an urban dori, and it was like a humongous bush that I cut down, and I grew the small branches, so it already had like this cascading windswept style that I embraced. Yeah, and more importantly, the symbolism behind this tree is actually what makes me fall in love with it, quite literally, because as you can see, it's in the wind, so the roughness of life. And then these are actually two trunks together, twisting around, actually holding each other and supporting each other through life. And actually really reminds me of me and my wife. So this has a lot of meaning for me. Yeah, Berberis timbergii, awesome tree. Alright, so this is one of my first Japanese maples in refinement. This one is started by Danny Uze, a pioneer in European bonsai, about 20 to 30 years ago. And now I'm trying to continue his work, or actually make it, putting my mark on this tree. It's wired in the fall of 2024, because Japanese maples, the best time to do this is actually in the fall, because then the resources are really moving, and if you have breakages or you bend the branches a lot, then it's more easy for a tree to recover. I think it's a very beautiful pot. Also bought at Danny Uze's place. I don't know the potter, but I just think it matches the bark perfectly. So I'm very happy with this tree, and I'm looking forward to what it's gonna give me this year. Yeah, so another Scots pine, Pinus sylvestris. As you're gonna see, I have a lot of pines in my garden. This is because obviously those are my favorite species. This one was actually the first one that I styled, or the first one that survived, because pines are very difficult, especially in the repot, and I had to learn that the hard way, but once you get it, you get it. This one is the first one that actually made it this far. I think I have this tree for about 6 years, so almost my entire bonsai career. Yeah, I love this tree. It has a twin trunk, but not at an obvious position. Normally a twin trunk is here. I actually made this branch into a second top, just because I felt like it. And I'm really happy with this decision. Yeah, as you can see, these needles are a little bit larger than the Spanish type. This is actually not a yamadori. This is also field grown material. So it took me a long time to get it here, so I'm very proud of it. So this is actually the first tree that I ever styled. So this is a Hinoki cypress. There's also a short video on the Hinoki cypress on my channel, so please just check that out, because you can see how far it came. So the first styling is on there, and I believe it was also 2017. So I started to style 2017, so it's that old. Now Hinoki cypress, everyone always loves this tree when they come to visit my garden. So really proud of this one, because yeah, it's the first one that I styled, and it turned out okay. It needs a lot of refinement right now, because I just let it grow last year to recuperate, so that I can like really hone in on the refinement this year. So that's actually the next step for this tree for this year. All right, another tree that is very close to my heart. This one will never leave the garden, because me and my wife made this one together. She held the trees, so it was like something that we both really enjoyed. So this one is a good memory. You're never going to leave the garden. It's Larch, so Larch forest, and every time I look at it, I actually kind of feel like I'm in the forest, wandering around. So it gives like this really awesome feeling, also with the memories, and so yeah, really awesome tree. Okay, so Picea omorica. This was actually just a Christmas tree. I have an origin video on this tree, where you can see that it was actually just a couple of branches, and after a couple of years, it has, I think, 3 years, I believe, it has evolved into a somewhat fuller bonsai. Also not completely sure about the front. This is a nice front, but if you turn it around, obviously serendipitous, it's also a nice front. So I still have to decide. I also have to make more negative space, because now it's one big ball. I let it ball out because it also had to recuperate. If you work too much on a tree, you always need to give like a season to recuperate. So that's what happened here. Pretty stoked. This was a Christmas tree, as I mentioned before, made into a bonsai. So small material can make big trees. Okay, so another Yamamomiji. Really love the base. This set actually has a very wide base. Also started by Danny Use, and I'm trying to make my own impression, or put my hand on the tree. I didn't wire this one out yet because the top, it was actually really coarse. It was a very healthy tree, but when I bought it, I realized that he let the tree grow out to increase the vigor, and by doing so, the top has become very heavy. So this is something that I'm working on. This all is wired out because this is actually the structure that I'm going to use, but this is not wired out because the branches are quite coarse. So I'm going to cut this all back, not back, but I'm just going to try to grow smaller branches like this to make the top feel less heavy. So that's what I'm going to do this year. Also, I believe 30 years in the making. I've had this tree for 1 year now. I bought this last fall. No, yeah, fall of 2023. So, also a very lovely pot. Do not know what the potter is, but yeah, fits very well. Quite happy with it. So, one of my smaller Sabina junipers, also yamadori. This one is styled 2022, I believe purchased 2022 and styled, then repotted 23, and now it has had a second wiring in fall 24. So I really love the deadwood, live vein deadwood interaction. You can see that this is a very old tree because the live vein here is actually really on top of the deadwood. The only thing that I added, or the only deadwood that I added, was actually this part. This was all tree. The rest was actually just collected. This is collected material, and this was actually made by nature. Mountains did this for us. Also from Spain. Fantastic little piece of material, and for once not that heavy, so I will be carrying this way up until my 70s or 80s. As you can see, awesome one. Yeah, also like the pot. Pot is like a very good color with the bark. Very excited for spring. Alright, so as I already mentioned, pines are my favorite species. As you can see, another yamadori Scots pine, Pinus sylvestris. So this one was actually came in a pair. So we're two trees, and I had to separate them. So it took a little bit longer for me to style it because I really wanted to recuperate the tree. I believe I separated them 2 years ago. So I believe it was spring of 2023. Now I styled this 2024 in the fall, so it had a full year to recuperate. Still has a lot of steps before it becomes a real bonsai, but at least we're heading into the right direction. Yeah. All right, so Taxus baccata, a yew tree, the European yew, not the Japanese yew. I'm really proud of this one because this was actually a normal tree. This was actually lifted this way, and I didn't know what to do with it because it was more or less a straight trunk. This is not a yamadori. This is a completely handmade from scratch. This was actually young material that I flipped over for a year. So I let it grow like this, like for a year, in a wrap with cellophane and just a hole to like give it some water. And then after a year, I styled this one, making the live vein deathwood interaction myself. And I believe I've had this tree for about 4 years, give or take. Now, recently, I think the day before yesterday, I planted it into this lovely little rock. Yeah, pretty stoked about this. I'm hoping that it will recuperate from the repot, because it wasn't that easy to make this mount and make it all like hold into its place. But very stoked and very excited to see what this is gonna give me this spring. So another forest. This one is actually made 2 years ago, 2020. No, I think 2022. Made from small Christmas trees. So I went to a store, bought a lot of Christmas trees, the little ones. They were in sale, I believe, and put them all together, made the wooden box, and then left it there for a year. Afterwards, I styled the first time, and this is actually the second styling. I did this one 2 weeks ago. Very good time to style Picea, if you protect it, of course. Normally, when it freezes, it goes into the garage. So if you protect this right now in winter, they're actually very malleable and they can withstand a lot of bending. But I didn't really have to bend it that much. If you have to do humongous bends, then better wait a few months or a month or two. But yeah, as you can see, just a couple of Christmas trees can make a beautiful forest. All right, so as I was saying, another yamadori, Pinus sylvestris, and yet again with the well, here actually I did something different. I used not one, not two, but 3 tops, just to, I don't know, play with the natural way how actually a pine tree or a tree in the wild actually can grow, but keeping it organized in order to convey the natural style, but then in miniature form. So yeah, very excited to how this is going to grow in the spring. Really love Pinus sylvestris. It's actually an awesome species. You can work a lot on it. It bends really, it actually does whatever you want it to do, more or less. Yeah, as I already mentioned, just watch out for repots, and if you can do that, then it's an awesome species. So yeah, my favorite species. So yet again, another Pinus sylvestris. This is actually the second pine that survived. Also a field grown material. Love how old it is, because you can see that the bark. I also believe it's like 30 years old. Yeah, lovely species. Love the twists and the very old-looking deadwood. I think I restyled it last fall in order to compact everything, because it's a literati style. Yeah, love this tree. Looking forward for spring. I hope you enjoyed this little tour of my refined bonsai benches. a lot more to come. So like, subscribe, and see you next time.